CENTCOM has confirmed that American forces completed the 10th consecutive night of strikes against Iran late Monday evening, hitting military command centers, maritime capabilities, missile and drone launch sites, and air defense systems, all aimed at degrading Iran's ability to project power both against their regional neighbors and against their own people. Yet, even as the bombs fell, Iran continued to desperately lash out in the midst of their death throes, hitting a tanker in the Strait early Tuesday, forcing its crew to abandon ship, as well as firing 5 drones at Jordan, all of which were intercepted. Iran's continued aggression against oil tankers does not appear to be working. Bloomberg is reporting that ship owners like Sinokor, the world's largest supertanker operator, are now offering crews up to 6 months extra pay, roughly $9,000 for junior sailors and $90,000 for captains, as incentive to sail through the Strait of Hormuz, and it appears to be working. While traffic through the strait is certainly limited, it hasn't been brought to a halt like at the beginning of this conflict. Since early May, U.S. forces have indeed helped facilitate the transit of roughly 900 commercial vessels and 450 million barrels of crude oil through the strait, despite Iran's best efforts to shut it down. More than 50,000 American troops remain in the theater, and the U.S. enforced blockade against Iran remains in full force, cutting them off from nearly $500 million a day in oil revenue, all as U.S. exporters like West Texas Oil get richer with more of the world's traffic diverting to our ports. That's the pattern. That's the trade Tehran keeps losing. And that's the key to the Trump administration's entire strategy here. Central banks continue buying gold at record levels all over the world. Global debt continues to explode. Geopolitical tensions aren't going away. And if those trends haven't changed, then why would the case for owning physical gold and silver? That's one reason why I trust Augusta Precious Metals. So if you'd like to learn more, go to turleybuysgold.com or text Turley to 35052. That's 35052, and request Augusta's free guide. Click on that link below right now. It's a constant 1-2 punch of military strikes and economic choking. This morning, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent went on Fox Business and dropped a bombshell about the economic front of this war and its geopolitical realignment, particularly as it relates to China.
Iranian oil, the Chinese in general, because of the prices and because they have a very large strategic petroleum reserve, have dropped their purchases of crude over the past few months by about 40%, and that's directly pressuring the Iranian regime. And we put the blockade back, and I tell you, the blockade is powerful financially, but I think it's also very powerful psychologically. It cuts Iran off from the rest of the world, and we also have the ability to interdict the Iranian dark fleet once they are out in the Pacific.
So there you have it. Beijing has cut its Iranian oil purchases by roughly 40% over the past few months, which is adversely affecting both Iran and China. Remember, at the heart of China's business model was their reliance on cheap oil, significantly discounted oil from Iran and Venezuela, so they can manufacture and export cheap products around the world. That's gone. China not only is no longer importing oil from Iran, but they themselves now have to buy oil at market prices, which is a significant blow to their business model. Remember, if you've been with this channel for some time now, and if not, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button, but you'll know that we've long argued that Trump's actions against Iran and Venezuela are ultimately about China, particularly with regard to Iran. Taking out Iran means both boxing out China from influencing and dictating the security architecture of the Middle East, particularly centered on their tacit control over the Strait of Hormuz, all the while forcing China to comply with sanctions and buy oil at market prices, thus removing their global manufacturing and exporting leverage. So Iran is all about a much larger geopolitical chessboard, especially when you factor in the role of the U.S. brokered Abraham Accords as the permanent architecture of peace and prosperity in the region, which then loops us back to Iran.